So in this video, you're going to learn about something that you can start implementing in your life right now to become insanely charismatic. Now, you might be asking, why do I have a say in this? What's my story? Well, here's the thing that always happened to me in middle school and high school. I was always someone that had terrible conversations with people. My conversations completely sucked. And the reason why my conversations with people completely sucked was because I had no idea what to say. I had no idea what to say. I had no idea what to tell people. Whenever I went into conversations with people, people just did not like talking to me because I had no idea what to say. I was that boring guy. And the thing is, I did not want this because I wanted that social life. I wanted to have friends. I wanted to post pictures on social media. I wanted to have that human connection that we all desire. But I just did not have it whatsoever. And because of this, I started doing a ton of research. So my problem was I couldn't have conversations. I didn't know how to connect with people. I hated that. So I started doing a ton of research. I started doing a ton of research on how to make friends, how to talk to girls, how to become more charismatic. And charismatic, that's a word that I found when doing this research. I saw charisma as this huge thing that could just instantly bring people. And with charisma, I started practicing it. I started listening in conversations, practicing a bunch of things from this research. And there are so many things about charisma that is completely false. So something that you're going to see is that, oh, act like you care about people, be really interested in people. So that's what I saw a bunch on charisma, right? That's how you be charismatic. But the thing is with this was a mistake because I would fake being interested and I would just ask a bunch of questions about people, but yet they didn't know about me. I never got to talk once. So this didn't work. There were so many mistakes with charisma that I learned. But it wasn't until I started learning this one thing that I'm going to show you in this video and show you how to do it step by step right now that's going to make you instantly more charismatic and it's going to make people actually want to talk to you. And this thing that you can start doing or being right now to be instantly more charismatic is being connected to everything. All right. So you might be confused right now. Oh, that's hopefully you can see that. It's really high up. I have no idea. Let me change that again. So being connected to everything. Now, you might be thinking, what am I talking about? Why is being connected to everything? How is it even possible to be connected to everything? Well, if you want me to be 100% with you, realistically, you're not going to be connected to everything. It's very hard, very time consuming. But here's what I basically mean. Having a wide range of knowledge in a bunch of different things allows you experience to tell stories and ask questions about other people in those certain things. So I'm going to give you an example on someone that I knew that was so charismatic, how he was connected to everything, and how I started connecting to a bunch of different aspects in life. So, as I just mentioned before, most of my life I've had terrible conversations with people. Lots of times where I was alone, where I saw people have friends but not me. And I'd say like the very hard stages of this lifestyle in my life was during middle school. Okay. Middle school was very hard for me to connect with people. And now that I'm looking back at it, this was because I had no experience in everything and anything. I wasn't connected to anything. I was lazy. I would literally go to school, eat, and then play video games. That's literally all I would do. And because of this, I would just make not necessarily friends, but acquaintances with people who would also play the same video games. You know, I would talk to lots of people in school, the nerds basically in video games. And these nerds, right, they were degenerates. Like every time we would talk about a video game, I was just like, dude, we just talk about the game. Like we're not talking about anything else. And for years just kept going because I was just connected to video games. But this all changed when I was 12 years old and I started playing soccer. So when I was 12 years old, I started playing soccer and I absolutely loved it. I fell in love with the sport so much. I was playing every single day. I was learning about the players. I was playing FIFA, which is basically this like soccer video game, but it's realistic. It's connected to the real life teams. And because of this, I gained this whole connection and experience within this sport, within this culture, within this worldwide international sport. And because of this, my ability to have conversations and connect with people and have charisma with people completely changed. Because here's what happened. Because I started playing soccer, I started watching the sport, learning the history, knowing all the FIFA games, knowing the history of the sport, the rules. Every time I met a person since I started playing with soccer, I was able to connect with them over soccer. So I remember this one time in seventh grade, one of like my very best friends in seventh grade, right? I met him and we were in a classroom and we just started having a conversation and I was still kind of awkward at the time, so I was nervous, it was kind of awkward at the certain time. And then I asked him, "Oh, do you play any sports?" And he's like, "Yeah, I play soccer." And then as soon as he said that, I instantly lit up because me playing soccer, right? I had experience in that. I was connected to soccer. I was literally connected to this sport. And so, because of this, I started talking about games, football or soccer cleats. I started talking about the history, if he played, what position he played, so many different things. So, not only are these things, if you're connected to something, not only do you have things to talk about, but you also have charisma because you're able to say it in a confident way. You have experienced this yourself. Why wouldn't you be confident in what you're saying? And of course, you might be thinking, "Oh, like I'm so shy and everything." But this isn't a video on, this isn't a motivational video on how to be more confident. Oh, be more confident, be yourself. This isn't one of those videos because that advice is so played out. It's so basic. This is something that's actually going to change your life. So being connected to everything, and this right here, being connected to everything, you might be thinking, okay, it's pretty much impossible to do that. But by the end of this video, I'm going to be telling you not being connected to everything, but the most things that you should be connected to, because the majority of the things that I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you some topics in this video. And within those topics, those are the things that people are most connected to in society. So be sure to stay tuned for that. But being connected to everything, as I was saying, I was connected to soccer and it changed my charismatic, right? Okay. But there was a problem with this because I live in the United States, and because of this, soccer is not the most popular sport. It's football and basketball. So because I was only connected to soccer, whenever I would meet people that played basketball and football and knew a bunch about that, it was very hard for me to connect with them. So this is even a problem that I have right now. I'm learning and trying to be more connected to football and basketball because football and basketball are hobbies and it's a sport that lots of people are connected to here in the United States. I remember this one time, a couple of years ago when I was a freshman in university, I was meeting this guy at a core group meeting at my school, and he was a very big football and basketball guy. And I remember I was trying to talk to him about soccer, but we didn't really connect. I was talking to him about other things, and we didn't really connect. And we basically played this game on what we could connect with, but he was into things that I wasn't, and I was into things that he wasn't either. And I was just thinking, if only I was connected to football, basketball, and his sports, we would probably be able to connect more. And because of this, me and him really didn't connect as much. But being connected to everything is an extremely important thing. I'm going to give you another example if you don't believe me on why being connected is such a superpower. I was in university last year and I'm sitting in the middle of the classroom in a big lecture hall, okay? And this is one of my last classes of the day. It was an evening class, so you know what? I was just like, "Oh my gosh, like I can't wait to get this over with. This is the last class of the day. It's Friday. I just want to leave." And I'm just sitting waiting for the class to start. It's a 45-minute class. I'm just waiting for the teacher to come in. And this teacher comes in, normal looking guy, average teacher, right? And so the class starts, everybody sits down. I'm sitting in the middle of this classroom, right? And this guy comes up, and I'm expecting him to just say, "Okay, class, like, let's start learning lecture one, module one, here's, you should have read the textbook." But instead of that, he asks us questions on stuff that our generation knows about. So he starts asking, "Oh, did you guys see that um, the new 21 Savage album?" And people were kind of confused. They were like, "How does he know who 21 Savage is?" And then later he starts talking about soccer. He starts talking about Liverpool Football Club, which is a club that I've seen play professionally, if you know about it. And I was just like, how does this guy know so much? And then throughout the semester and throughout classes, we realized that he has so much experience in sports, martial arts. What else? He was in the music industry and he was a marketing professional, so he knew a bunch of different things. And because of this, because he told his story and because he was able to relate and connect with so many things, everybody in the class wanted to email him and have a coffee. Because not only would like meeting with this guy and getting a coffee with this guy like allow us to become like, maybe he could give us like a recommend letter of recommendation or anything, but he was generally just so charismatic and I admired him so much. Because other teachers, what other hobbies do they have? Playing sudoku, reading boring fairy tale books, I don't know, like walking your dog, whatever else old people do. But this guy, this teacher, he was connected to everything. And I remember my buddy, we were talking about him, we were talking about how much we liked this teacher. And my buddy was like, he's a really good teacher. He's just connected to everything somehow. So that's another example on how I know that being connected to everything, having knowledge and experience in lots of different things in life allows you to talk more and it impresses people. People are going to be like, how do you have so much experience in this? So now finally, the moment that you're all waiting for, what things should you be connected with? I'm going to tell you step by step on a couple things on how you can be more connected and topics that people are into. Because here's the thing, you don't want to get into topics and be connected to things that people aren't into. For example, you're probably not going to start being connected to everything and learning a bunch of things about leaves, about leaf connecting or trees, or I don't know, marine biology, because not a lot of people know about those things, right? It's going to be very hard for you to connect with those things. Maybe you can, maybe you'll meet someone in those fields, but right now I'm going to teach you some things and topics in overall that people are really into. So let's see what I have on my list right here. So the very first thing that you can start getting into right now is sports. And I literally just told my personal example with this. Sports are extremely important and extremely underrated that you should get into. Now you might be thinking right now, oh, sports are so boring, sports, I don't care about sports, it's a waste of time. And I 100% agree in a way. I used to be that guy. I used to say, why would I spend 2 hours every single week watching a game that's not going to benefit me? But here's the thing, I highly recommend that you take advantage of sports and using it to your advantage when trying to make more friends and trying to have this social life. Because sports itself, you have games, you have parties, and then you have traveling. So within the sport itself, obviously, if you know a lot about sports, you're going to talk about the players, the history, the rules of the sport, okay? That's probably the easiest thing you connect on. But if you're someone who knows sports and people are like, "Oh wow, I can definitely talk to sports about you guys." Imagine there's this big game in your hometown. Imagine there's a big game and the person that you had just met last week, he's like, "Oh yeah, I met this guy. Let me invite him and a bunch of my other friends to this game." Okay? And then after the game, there's this party, there's this event that we can go to after. We can go out and eat. Imagine how much you're able to connect with these people when you know a lot about sports. When you're that guy for knowing the tactics, knowing the news, knowing everything. And yes, it does take a while, and I'm going to tell you how to get into sports if you're interested. But games, parties, and traveling. I remember when I started getting into soccer, I got invited to so many games and parties with my friends from my team that I was in, and with traveling as well. I remember that I met some guy in school, and there's this big, basically how soccer works in Europe. They take a tour, they take a U.S. tour every summer, so they can play games, so fans can go see them, so we don't have to travel all the way to Europe. But I was meeting this guy, and he literally invited me to go see this game with me together, and we went and we saw the Liverpool Football Club play, which is a team in England. But imagine and just realize how many opportunities you're missing out if you don't know about sports. Be that guy who knows about sports, know the players, know what's going on. And something that you can start doing to start getting more into sports is playing sports games, playing NBA 2K, playing Madden, playing FIFA. In my experience, this has been a game changer because not only are you being lazy, You don't have to like search anything up, but you're playing, having fun, learning the rules of the game, reading the rules on the TV. This is something that's definitely changed my life. Next topic that you should start getting into and being connected with is music. And this is pretty self explanatory. Who do you know that doesn't listen to music? Everybody listens to music. Now imagine if you met so many people that had the same music interest as you. It'd be pretty easy to talk to them, right? Because in a way, personalities are almost like music personalities, right? So imagine being connected to a bunch of different music. Imagine being able to talk to people about your favorite songs. When do you listen it to in the gym? Why do you like those artists? Do you see the new album coming out? What do you think about their style? See, these are a bunch of different things that I'm pulling out. And if you haven't noticed, being connected to a bunch of different things allows you to say a bunch more things. Think about it. So the easiest way to get into music is to start listening to everything. Okay? Listen to a bunch of different music ideas. Get out of your comfort zone. Listen to the new, I don't know, listen to listen to a bunch of new albums, listen to mainstream music that has just come out. Get into a bunch of different music, because when you know music, you're able to connect with different people. Imagine going to the beach with your friends, having the aux and just blasting music and just screaming the lyrics as you're driving to the beach, because you're known as that guy that knows all the music. So this is music, definitely something to learn about, definitely something to connect with. The next thing that you can start doing, and the last thing that I'm going to show in this video, is TV shows. Oh my gosh, TV shows are so powerful, especially when you're dating, especially when you're dating women, because TV shows are something that you can always talk about. Okay, so for my example, one of my close friends, we talk about this show called You. Okay, You recently just released its final season, but whenever we talk about TV shows, me and my friend, we always talk about so many different things. So, for example, I'm just going to pull a few things out of my brain right now when talking about shows. Did you see the new season? Did you see the new Instagram post? Did you see the transformation? What do you think about the new love interest? What do you think about the ending? Which is your favorite season? So many things to pull about from TV shows. Do you understand how many things you can pull out from knowing these topics? And if you don't know these topics, well, you're kind of just a loser. And I'm not saying that to be cocky, but I was like that as well. Not being connected to anything, not wanting to do the majority of things that people do. So, TV shows, watch a bunch of them. Watch a bunch of different TV shows in different languages if you want to. For example, Squid Games, Money Heist, those are in different languages. You can connect with people more then. But TV shows are such a good way to connect with people. Shoot, you can even invite people to watch the show with you. It's that simple. Don't overcomplicate things. And the most important thing and the most underrated thing about these things is that these are fun things. You're not reading you're not reading a huge textbook. You're not doing biology here. Easy, keep it simple, connect with people. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.